Hey guys, welcome back to the Falcon Project on Calico's Garage. If this is your first time, thanks for checking it out. I'm currently working on my 61 Ford Falcon and turning it into a drag car. I guess this is really the first time I've kind of introduced the channel to new people. Hopefully there'll be more as the weeks go by, but anyway, we are on episode number 19, and in this episode it is going to be all about wiring. It's kind of been the part of this build that I've been looking the most forward to, and the first part that we're going to start with is mounting the terminal pass-throughs for the ground and positive right here in the firewall. As you can see, I've got the relay panel. I had to modify it a little bit. This part here kind of used to be over here. I cut it off because I really didn't want to have the panel on the floor. I kind of wanted it up on the firewall. So I cut that part off, which worked out great because it gives me space for the terminals. And then this little piece can just fit right up here, and that will work great. So that's kind of the plan. But for right now, we're going to get those lugs installed. So let's get to it. Now I just need to put the lock nuts on the other side, and we'll be all set. Okay, the next part that I'm going to do is the switch panel, which is going to mount right here. And I picked up this case, or I guess mounting box, from Crossroads 3D. I have a bunch of 3D printers. I think I have 4, but I just felt like it was a lot easier to just buy this because it's already ready to go. I don't have to design anything, go through a bunch of trial and error. It's just get it and install it. So I kind of went the easy route, but we'll get the box mounted up on the roll bar, and then the switch panel I've already kind of got wired up, and there's some of these that I'm not going to be using. Mainly I'm just going to be using the first 4 and then the lights. So these 3 here I'm actually not using. I just kind of stuck some stickers on there to make it look interesting. But so I've got 3 available switches that I can always add in the future. But for now, we'll go ahead and get the box mounted, and then I can start mounting the switches in the box. Yeah. Yeah, that's going to look nice. Definitely going to look nice. All right, there we go. Excellent. All right, the last piece is this little close-off plate that goes right there and makes it look all clean and tidy. Alrighty. Now we can route these wires and see how much of it we can cut off. Alright, I've got the riv nuts installed for all three electrical components, the two relay boards and then the Terminator X. So I'm going to go ahead and get those screwed in and mounted. I've got all of the relay panels and the Terminator X mounted. They are nice and secure, and that's where they're going to live. I think that looks really good. So now I will get to running all the wires and everything. That's really the fun part. Okay, we're going to mount the battery tray in the trunk. I've got this one here, and we're gonna mount it right here, something like that. I've already got the holes drilled in the corners, so I'll just mark the locations with a paint marker, and we'll get those drilled out and get it mounted. Should be pretty easy. Okay, battery box mounted. Never have too many zip ties. We got a real big chunk of the wiring done today. I know it kind of looks like spaghetti. It's a bit organized. I still have a little bit of wire management that I need to do, but for the most part, I've got the switch panel loomed and routed down, and it goes across and over, and then I've got all of the switches wired in. I've also got in the shifter the two buttons, which I just have them both right now wired for line lock, so I can press either one of them and it'll do the line lock. And then the neutral safety switch, which is this wire here, those all go down across, and then they kind of split off. So I've got the line lock here at the ground, and then the neutral safety switch is the yellow wire, and then it goes to the starter. And I've got the main power and ground, which are going to go to the back to hook to the battery. I've got those wired in. I've got the cable for the alternator, which I have to run up front, but I'm going to wait till I get the back situated with the battery and everything, and all the wires run to the back, and then I will do the alternator probably last. But I am really excited about what I got accomplished today. I've actually got the next 2 weeks off work, so I've got plenty of time to work on it. I think I started working out here today around 8 o'clock, and it's 2:46 right now, so that's a pretty good day's work, and I feel pretty good about what I got accomplished. So I'm going to pack it up for today, and I will catch back up with you guys tomorrow. See you then. Got some more work done today. I got the main power and ground, and then also the alternator wire. I just have it coming right through the firewall here, and they are going through the back there, and there we go. So they come out through there, and I've got a battery, and I've got the wires just kind of run to where they're going to go. This one's going to come over to here, and I will have a little bit extra left over. I also got the tank kind of mocked up. It's just a 5-gallon fuel cell, and the bottom it has a sump on it, so it actually goes below the floor. So I had to cut that out, and then it will just kind of sit. There's like 2 bolts here, and then this one and this one are the back bolts. And then it will fit in there. Kind of squirreled a little bit, but I needed to wait until the battery I ordered was ready for pickup. So I just kind of worked on that until it was ready, and then I went and grabbed it. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and get the ends put on these cables, get that part tied up, and then I can move on to wiring the actual components. There's still a few that I have to hook up, like the fuel pump. I don't even have that installed yet, but I can get the wires run to the things that I do have, and then I'll have to just install what I don't, and then I can run the wires to them. There you go. I went ahead and threw the trunk floor, aka the stock fuel tank, or at least the top part. I cut the bottom part off. But the tank is actually the trunk floor, so that worked out great. But as you can see, that is where the fuel cell is going to sit, right here. I've got the fuel out, and then these are both returns up here. So what I'll end up doing is, these are caps. I'll just take the cap off, the one that I'm going to use, which will probably be this one, to run the fuel line to the engine. And then this cap I'll just put on probably this one over here to cap that off, and then this will be the return. But anyway, just wanted to show you what that looks like in there. Okay, back to wiring. So what I did here was I just welded a bolt to the frame, and so this will be a good chassis ground. So I'll hook this onto the battery cable here. And I think right here is where the hole to go inside to the engine bay of the truck. Sorry. All right, guys, had another long day of work, but a very productive day. Got the battery, the battery itself, picked that up, and got the main power and ground run back from the terminal lugs up at the front, all the way back. And got those connected to the battery terminals. And then I also got the chassis ground, which runs down, which you saw me install a little bit ago. So the battery hookups are all ready. I've got it hooked to the kill switch, so the kill switch is also hooked up. This is the alternator and the battery lead, and then when you turn it on, it runs power from basically the battery to the line that runs up to the front. And then when you turn it off, it disconnects that, so there's no power to any of the electrical system. Also got the fuel cell. It's not installed, it's just kind of in here, but that's where it's going to go. What else did we do? Well, obviously ran the alternator cable. It just comes through the firewall and will follow back. I haven't done any cable management on the power wires or anything because there's going to be other wires. There's a power and ground for the Terminator X, and also the wires for the lights, which are going to run back there. So I wanted to wait till I had everything kind of run and connected. That way, when I route everything back, then at that point I can get everything nice and tidy looking. I also did wire up the alternator. So the alternator is hooked up and ready to go. And I just kind of like the other wires, it's just kind of loose in here. I don't have it secured to anything at the moment. I'm going to wait till I get all the wires done, and then once that's done, I'll go through and get everything cleaned up and looking good. But look at this. We can mark a bunch of stuff off the board. Install battery cables, done. Install relay board, done. Install switch panel, done. Wired neutral safety switch, done. So the only things left are the Terminator X, trans brake, line lock, fans, and lights. And that will take care of everything, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, a lot of stuff marked off. We can probably do these as well because these are actually in there. They just aren't bolted down, but they are where they're going to go. I would say we are in the home stretch, which makes me very happy because I cannot wait for this to get done. It has kind of taken me a lot longer than I expected it to, and obviously I'm not done yet. But considering where I started, I really can't believe that I've gotten as much done as I have, you know, just working on it myself. I did get the throttle cable hooked up and everything as well. I kind of just did that off camera. I still have to run the AN lines for the oil catch can. Once I get the radiator installed, I have to get hoses for that. Well, the turbo, I still have to get all that and the intercooler, but that will be a future video because that is going to take quite a bit of figuring out and probably maths, which I don't like maths. But anyway, I think this is a good stopping point for today. Feeling pretty accomplished, and we will pick back up tomorrow. See you then. If you're doing any type of wire management, you want to get a roll of this Tessa tape. It's like a fleece material, and the adhesive on the back isn't overly sticky, but it sticks to this like Velcro, and it really works well for making things look nice and tidy. Okay, this is the end of day 3 of wiring, and once again I got quite a bit done. Alright, so I got the trans brake wired, I got the lights, the brake lights and the brake light switch, got the line lock, all the lights to the back and the front. Did a lot of cable management for the main wiring, and just kind of tidied things up a bit. Out here in the engine bay, I've got the wires coming through here, and then they split off down here. I've got it loomed for the trans brake and the brake light switch, and then I've got these 2 wires. Well, mainly it's just the yellow wire, which is the lights. The red wire that is currently run, I'm going to replace it with a higher gauge because that's going to go for the fan, and I figure I'll go with a higher gauge because I know that some of the fans can pull a lot of amperage, and I don't want to take any chances. So this is 12 gauge wire and this is 14, so I figure 12 is going to be a little bit better. But I've got it, for the lights anyway, I've got it wired in, and then I've got it wired up to the actual connector for the lights, which I will show you once I get those installed. But lots of extra cable so it can get routed and look nice. I also ran the power and ground for the Terminator X, which is here. So that's this wire in the loom, and then it just follows everything back. and then it goes to the hole on the right side that's in the loom. I believe that is it as far as anything that's going to have to get routed to the back, at least that I can think of off the top of my head. I do still have to wire the fuel pump and the transcooler, which the transcooler, you can see the rib nuts for it here, so I'll probably run the wires and then just kind of branch it out from there. The fuel pump, I'm probably going to run it somewhere near the back. It's usually good to put it as close to the tank as possible, so it'll be somewhere in the back. So, well, yeah, actually that will be another wire I'm going to have to run through there, but I do have a little bit of space in the bottom one, so I can squeeze one more wire through there. I don't think that'll be a problem. But anyway, another day down, and let's see if we can mark some stuff off on the board. Okay, yes we can. So we've got the line lock and the trans brake, and I think that is it. I haven't, well, yeah, I still have to do both the fans, and then the Terminator has quite a bit more wiring that needs to get connected. It's got like the whole engine harness and everything like that, so that I will leave on the board for now, but at least we got to mark a couple other things off. And that list is getting shorter by the day, which is awesome. So I'm going to end it today, and I will catch back up with you guys tomorrow. All right, it's been a few days. It was Christmas, so I kind of took some time off to not work on the car, but back to it. I spent a little bit yesterday and quite a bit today working on it. I got the Terminator wiring harness pass through, and I've hooked some things up that were here. There's a couple things that I'm still waiting to get delivered. The manifold temperature, which is going to go in the bottom of the intake, I'm still waiting for that. And then also the fuel pressure. I don't have any of the fuel system hooked up yet, so obviously I can't hook that up. A couple other things, wideband. I don't have any of the turbo stuff, which that's going to get connected to installed yet. So yeah, I got most of it, but there is still just a few things left. And then on the inside, obviously got the harness connected, and then over here you can see where the harness comes through the firewall, and then I have it routed up and around and then to the Terminator. There's a relay and a fuse. The relay is for a fuel pump if you're going to run your fuel pump through the Terminator. I am not, but you still have to, I mean, it's kind of hardwired into the harness, so I just mounted it, and then the fuse. And there are the inputs, connector, input and output connector over there. Once I get those connected, then that just plugs into there. But other than that, it's just kind of been a slow process, you know, like I route one wire and get it all looking nice, and then realize that I've got another wire that I have to route back to the back. So there's kind of quite a few layers of the Tessa tape, and like I just had to run this one, which is actually red, from the Terminator. This is the direct power for the injectors, which has to go directly to the battery. So the cable's only to here, so I had to disconnect another 14 gauge that I had to run it to the back with everything else. And then that just comes through right here and then hooks directly to the battery terminal. Other things that I did was I kind of got this neat and organized. I wired the lights, or at least the connectors for them. I tested these because, well, the white for sure is the ground, but then there is just two black wires. One is for the regular tail lights, and then one is for the brake lights. So I tried to test them to see which is which. And for some reason, this side didn't work. When I tested this side, it worked just fine, and I was able to determine which was which. So I was able to get this completely hooked up. I just have to run the ground. But, oops, that's just kind of routed across, and then it splits to here and then runs to the front. I also hooked up the reverse lights to the trans brake. That is this here, kind of this black coiled up, and then it goes to this relay. I didn't want to run just like the lights themselves off of the trans brake relay, so I just kind of have that wire running as a trigger, and then it will turn this on, which will then turn the lights on. Then I have those mounted right here, and the same on the other side. And they don't really point, back like regular reverse lights on a normal car. They're kind of more angled toward the back of the tires. Usually from what I've seen, it's for when you're backing up, you can see if there's anything that you're going to run over, or if you're doing like a no prep race, you can put the trans brake on to turn the lights on, and then you've got like a nice bright light right behind your tire, so either in front or behind it, you can back into the whatever type of prep you're pouring on the surface before you go. I also got the fuel pump mounted and wired. Oh, no, that's for the lights. The wires here and here. I kind of had a little bit of trouble because the posts for the negative and positive on the pump are copper, and the nuts that they come with are steel. So obviously steel is a heavier or stronger metal than copper. So as I was tightening it down, I'm like, why isn't this getting tight? I just kept turning. So I took the nut off, and it was just completely stripped. So I had to do a little bit of surgery, took this cap off. The problem was on the positive side. So luckily I had a long screw and some nuts that are this exact same size. So I was able to just kind of make my own post and got that fixed. So you just kind of have to roll with the punches as they happen. So I think I'm going to call it for today. There's only a few things left that I really need to do. Let's check the board. There we go. Install and wire the Holley Terminator. That is done. So there are really only a few things left that I need to do. I need to install the turbo hot and cold sides, and I need to measure for the drive shaft, install the fuel system, and then sand, prime, do body work, and finally paint. And then I'm totally done. Let's do this. Let's just circle what we need to do. So install turbo hot and cold side. These three things here. And is that it? That is it. That and those, so 4 things. And then I'm done. Yeah, only 4 things left. And then this thing's ready for action. Wow, that's exciting. I didn't realize that I had all that other stuff done. That is awesome. All right, I will catch back up with you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, I am back, and I've been doing quite a bit off camera just because it's really a lot of the same, you know, running wires. It's not really anything interesting. It's just kind of a lot of busy work, but I mean, it's fun, but it's not really interesting to watch. So I did most of it off camera, but I am happy to say that I am done with all the wiring. I got everything wired up. The only thing I haven't done is in the engine bay. I don't have all of the connectors hooked up yet for the Terminator. I'm still waiting on a couple adapter plugs, and I also have to drill and tap the intake for the manifold air temp sensor, because it is 3/8 NPT, and the ports that are in the intake are either 1/8 or I think there's one that's just slightly above 1/8. I'm not quite sure the exact size, but it doesn't fit. So I'm going to have to drill and tap that. No big deal. But I've got all the wiring done. Really happy about it. I've shown you all this that I've got for the headlights and the radiator once I have it in here. Inside the car, I know it's still kind of a mess. I have to clean it up. But the circuit and relay panel is totally done. Everything is wired up. The Holly is mounted. Everything's connected. If you look under here, I'm not sure, actually it might be easier to see it this way, but you can kind of see how everything's routed. I've got a splitter here. Where is it? Yeah, right there for the display. The initial setup, you have to use the little 3.5-inch display with the Terminator to get everything initially set up and create the startup tune. And then once that is done, I can switch over to the 7-inch dash, which I'm going to use from then on. And then I've got this port here. Turn that on. There you go. It's a little easier. I've got this port here, which is USB, where I can connect my laptop to do tuning for the Terminator X rather than having a big cable just underneath. I figured it would be easier to wire up that little port. I also added this switch here, which is the interior lights. There's also one under here and back here. So with all 4 of those, if it's dark when I'm racing anywhere, I will have plenty of light with that. And then the LED here is for the line lock. So when I press either one of these buttons, that's going to activate the line lock solenoid, and then that should light up. Same with the trans brake. I've got the trans brake initial staging, and then also the bump button here. I've got those wired up to a connector. And on here, this is the solid state relay for the trans brake, and there's a light there. So when I press that button, that should light up to indicate that that's working. I think that is it for here. And then in the back, I don't think there's anything different. I've got all the cables routed. I just have to kind of clean things up here and there. But I've got the battery, I've got all the terminals and everything. I've got the kill switch, the relay for the reverse lights. Oh, I did also work on this. I think I mentioned that in my last video. I was able to get this completely wired because it worked, and then this one over here wasn't. Well, it turns out it's the bulb. Brand new bulb out of the box, and it doesn't work. I took the bulb from this side, put it in over here and tested it, and it worked fine. I put this one over there, tested it, didn't work. So this brand new bulb doesn't work. So whatever, I'll have to get some new ones. No big deal. So at this point, it's just a lot of cleanup work, kind of getting everything bundled together so it's not kind of just everywhere. I've kind of been doing that as I've gone along, so there's really not that much that I have to do, but there is still a little bit of cleanup to do. And then after that, we are all set to go. So that is going to end it for this episode. I hope that it was entertaining. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button. If you really liked it and want to see more, hit the subscribe and also click the bell to get notified when I release the next video. Also leave a comment if you saw something that you didn't like, that you liked. Either way, doesn't matter. Comments are always good. I think it helps with the engagement and the algorithms from YouTube. So anyway, I'm Chris. Thanks for watching the Falcon Project on Calico's Garage. I'll see you next time.